Have never been clearer. I see what you're doing to me now. They lie, they steal, they fool us. Deep down I probably knew this. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing today on this, well, for me, early Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon for my coach here? And I am so excited to have on here my very, very beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, wonderful, empowering friend, Ivy Barreto, who is the coach, who is the owner and founder of Hugs. And we're going to find out what Hugs is about later on. But in the meantime, hi,
Ivy. Hi, how are you? Hi, everyone.
It's nice to see you, talk to you, communicate with you, and so thankful that you're on my show. And those of you who are watching, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on all of your pages so we can get this out. Because what is this? The healing factor. And what we're doing here is getting women to open up and talk about my life after. What does that mean? My life after means, where did I come from? What did I go through to get here? And how did I heal? Where am I at now? What are my successes? What can I tell the world to share to help another woman to stand on her own, to use her own voice and stand in her power? So with me today, I have my beautiful friend, Ivy, and I'm going to read her bio for you right quick before we get started into her beautiful story. I only got a teensy bit of it, so maybe I get a little bit today. So, Ivy is a seasoned business relationship architect and coach, certified coach, and emotional geographer. She's a luminary in holistic wellness and personal development. Her transformative journey from sleep deprivation to inner peace through art defines her as an insightful guide, drawing from 15 years in architecture. That's a lot. Ivy bridges design, personal growth, and corporate leadership. As a certified neurographic art and NLP coach mentor. You see all those letters behind? She got some skills, y'all. Don't get it twisted. She empowers individuals and organizations using the SPACES concept, SPACES concept, to fuel holistic well-being and success. Ivy, a sought-after health influencer, captivates as a speaker, author, and mentor, alleviating anxiety and burnout through her holistic lifestyle, coaching, and neural art instruction. With an eagle eye perspective, she empowers others to visualize and create spaces for growth and well-being. Ivy inspires lasting change, unlocking the secrets to great sleep and fulfillment. Welcome, Ivy, to the stage, honey. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks, Melvina. Thank you very much for that lovely presentation.
You are so welcome. So, Ivy, I am just enthralled after reading your bio to hear, and everyone else is too, to hear how you got from where you were to how you are where you are now.
That is quite a lot. You know,
well, we got 30 minutes, so however you want to tell it.
As a woman, we go through a lot of things in life, and we internalize a lot of things that we don't tell people. And then when we get to certain places, people feel like it was very easy to get to those places. but nothing in life is easy. And for the age that I am today, I'm in my 40s, it took a lot of stages to get to where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very grateful because not everybody that began the journey that I was with them are here today.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be mindful of that as women, to carry one another. And in my own point of view, when I started my journey, I was very fortunate in the places where I was. I rose up to life very quickly. And sometimes in life, when you rise up to life very quickly, you go down very quickly because you weren't prepared for those spaces that you were getting in. And that's what happened to me. I was always somebody very fortunate. People really liked me a lot. I think is one of the qualities I acquired from my mother because she's very people's person. And I'm very thoughtful person and very meticulous in my decisions. So I acquired that from my dad. So and my upbringing, those two things, and my upbringing made me who I am today. And me being the first in the family because I'm a family of six. There's six in the family. I'm the first one. And being it and as an African person, the firstborn is like the mother of the rest. So I was forced to grow up very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So when you grow up very quickly, you don't experience certain things that you need to experience. For example, childhood. I didn't experience that myself.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain things in the childhood that I still miss up to today. And but my consolation is being able to go back to it and revisit it, and took one of the elements with it. So I like my teddy. So something that people don't know, I like to sleep with my teddy bear.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. In my office, I have a teddy bear. In my office, when I look at it, it makes me remember, it grounds me to who I am, from where I came from. So that is a symbolic thing of mine. So this is one of the most precious assets that I have. And that is the extension of that teddy bear. Looking at it makes me remember my children because before I could be a mother, I was somebody at a very early age. When I was 19, you have your first love, like all of us. We all have that first love, and I wasn't ready because I didn't know anything about that. And growing up in the setting I was growing up, my dad was very militarized upbringing, and my mom was very, Catholic infused. So those two, there's a friction in those two.
Yeah.
So there was no leeway for all these kind of external things like being in love and understanding it,
Mm-hmm.
and being somebody that traveled a lot because my parents they do travel a lot around the world because of their kind of profession that they were. Because my dad was a physicist, and my mom is a nurse, so she was all into education. So, which led me to all this. And growing up in Europe, because I was born in Europe myself, I grew up in Europe, and I had my children as well in Europe. So sometimes it can be difficult,
Yeah.
as an African person, never being back in Africa. It can have its toll, and it had its toll when you are misplaced. You can be in a community, but you are misplaced and misjudged. So sometimes they just feel like you are whitewashed. And yeah, but I didn't let that to knock me down. So, and when I had my own partner, that is the father of my children now, um, he's as well from this different country, so, but it's Portuguese descent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I got pregnant, I wasn't ready. So in our family, there was an abortion and when women go through abortion, they acquire a lot of traumatic events, and which, so my life was a piling up of traumatic events, which was self-inflicted because not having ability to choose or to make a choice. And when you're making a choice, you always have to consider others and don't consider yourself. You find yourself in a hole, and that hole keep on digging until one day you find the core. And when you find the core, you have to address it or it explodes. So that was one of the, my first pregnancy. Was twins, and which was an abortion involved, and which I did regret. But today, you don't regret. You just take it as a learning lesson and move on. So then, before I could get the second one, before I could get pregnant, there was a lot of miscarriages involved, and then I had 8 miscarriages before I could get to my firstborn. So that's why my firstborn, I gave her the name of Honey. You know, her name is Honey Desiree because she was a desired child. So that was one of it. And then the second one, I call her Ruby Shalom because she's a jewel. She came at the right time.
I love it.
Yeah, and then I had Clive Lael. So yeah, it's a he because it took me a while to get a male child because as Africans raising children up, they will feel like you are not a woman, you are not a complete woman until you have a male child, and that as well knocks your confidence down. So that is the story.
Okay.
And one of the factors is when families come together, they don't agree in people belonging together, so which causes friction within families because of traditional values not being part of the value that they. So there was a lot of turmoil in my own relationship in terms of being with my partner because we are not from the same origins. So that is one thing as well in relationships for us to keep in mind who we go to, how we, navigate that and presenting how we present ourselves to our families. So, and as well, how to establish boundaries for us not to get hurt and then hurting, having a domino effect in the rest of our lives and the decisions. So that is one of the phases. And then there was another phase that, you know, when my children was taken away from me from the department because of overworking myself. Because when you're in Europe, you need to work to escalate. You want to get to a certain point in life, and you find yourself lost. Because that's how I see it. You lose yourself because you're trying to get up to the ladder, and then you forget the main thing that's who makes you who you. That is your family. My children they are my they are my rock, and I forgot them, and it took me 5 years to get them back from the child services, and which is a um, very tedious process, and which I now I know how to, get about it because I help a lot of women, a lot of families, in the work I do today. Because some people they don't have the language to navigate um, that particular situation. So it took me a while, because those things you need to consider the background of the person, what led the person, and also on so on. So before everything to get to that point, I was always somebody that works a lot because my background is in architecture, and in the architectural realm, you really need to be in your eighth game. I work overnight, I work daytime, nighttime, doing all the renders in the computer because I do 3D drawings. I am qualified in BIM. So sorry. Sorry about. Oh gosh, this is crazy.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's part
So
of life.
yeah, exactly. So in that realm, oh my God, this is
Just go dance.
my God. Yeah. So sorry about that.
It's okay.
In the architectural world, that is the improvisation in the architectural always ring.
Mhm.
What happened? So I did project management as well. So I did that profession in terms of project management. I couldn't manage my house, but I could manage outside my house.
Mm. Mhm.
So, and then being in that profession, you have to be day and night, and sometimes extra hours, being
Wow.
outside hours. So it made me feel like I was neglecting my whole entire family, neglecting the children, neglecting the husband.
Mhm.
So it was quite a difficult situation, and which led me to a burnout. And even before the burnout, I was somebody that had depression because the depression came out of being from my children that I lost initially.
Mhm.
So I was terrorized and all that, yeah, and it was very quite difficult situation times. So being 15 years depressed or more, and I never talked about it. So my profession discarded it because being in that kind of profession, you have to be go go go. Nobody understands that you're depressed because they see the work done, but they don't know how the work is done. It's just like an artist, like yourself, you're an artist as well. So you have to operate from this place of destruction so you can create your best piece.
Mhm.
So if
Good.
you can understand that aspect.
Mhm.
So which I did that for so many years. And then it ended up in the time as well that I had to address it because when that thing happened with the children, I had to address so many layers of myself. I had to heal. And as well, I used to drink a lot. That's something that people don't know. I like my drink.
Mhm.
And not all the time, drinking is good. So after addressing that aspect of the drink, that's how as well. Um, it took a while. It took a toll in me. So when that all happened, I was forced to address myself. And then on top of that, I lost my mother. That was my call. Yeah, I lost my mother. That she was my, the person that my go-to person. It's like I lost my arm.
Mm.
So it was very difficult as well to navigate culture because the time she was deceased, we had to deal culturally how to, bury her and the rest, and we did it in the European way, and which it wasn't suitable.
Mhm.
So which led to a lot of years as well of conflict between family, grudges, and the rest.
Mhm.
And after that, it had a big toll in my marriage. A lot of things of that had a big toll. And then coming to that point as well, I lost my father.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I lost my mom to cancer when we knew it was 7 months. We couldn't do anything. So you find ourselves in that situation, all of us in disbelief, because you can understand that it happened to others, but you don't know that it can happen to you. And when
Mhm.
it's happening to you, you don't even know where to start because you have never failed, face one of something like that. So when it happened to my dad as well, I was there as well. So my mother, when it happened to my mother, I ran away. I let my siblings to deal with it. And when it happened to my father, it was very difficult, and I didn't want to feel what I felt because I ran away. I didn't address my mother's, so I addressed my father's. It was very difficult times, I wouldn't say. So losing both of them, it looked like I was an orphan. I was an orphan,
Mhm.
and you don't have anybody else to go to. So that's why it's the importance of having a network of people, having friendships. It is very important,
Mhm.
having those things in our lives, because sometimes it can be too much for us. We need to understand that everybody comes into your life is for a reason, and we
Mhm.
need to give them that access. But not giving them, you have to have access, but have boundaries in that, in the middle of that access. It is very important. And as well, know your limits. So when all that happened, um, it was difficult, and all that happened during the pandemic. My dad was deceased during the pandemic, so we
Mm.
met to be
This was recent.
helpless. Yeah. So it was very difficult to navigate that. So I found myself, and I said to myself, "It's enough. Enough is enough." And even before the pandemic that it happened, I traveled out to Africa. And that was my first encounter to Africa. And I went to the country of my husband's country. That's
Mhm.
Cape Verde Island. Because I had a contract at the time. And when I went there, I went there with my broken leg because I always find it fascinating that the time, when you lose yourself is when you find yourself in deep pain, but you don't feel that pain because you're numb to everything that happened to you. So I put myself in that plane because I just wanted to breathe. I didn't know how I got there. I just got there, and once I landed, it was just like, oh, this is what my body needed all along.
Mhm.
So it was 6 days, and it was the best 6 days I had. Had nice food, nice air, nice water, carefree. I could be naked.
That's freedom right there.
Yes, wanted to be free.
Um, yeah.
Well, so even with my clutches, everybody looking at me, who is this lady with that clutches? And I'm asking for a lift. Oh, do they have a lift? And then everybody looking at me in disbelief. What is she talking about, the lift? Where does she come from?
No such thing as air.
Crazy. Yeah, but they understood that, it was my first time, so, and I had an encounter there.
Mm.
That's why I said that sometimes in life we have this spiritual awakening.
Mhm.
I had my spiritual awakening there because I went down there. I met people that I never saw, and then they embraced me like if they know me for a long time. I made good relationships, solid relationships,
Mhm.
and I had one encounter in the beach where I was baptized. Yes, I was baptized. I wasn't expecting that. They baptized me, and because the man just said, "Who are you? You are here for a reason. Welcome home." And I'm
Mhm.
looking at this belief, who is this person? What are you talking about? Yeah, and he baptized me, and it was the best experience I had in my life.
Mhm.
I like experiencing spiritual compartments. Like, for example, I go to all sorts of churches because when you're in seek of something,
Mhm.
you need to find what you're seeking for.
Definitely.
So yeah, so I found a piece of it in that island when I was baptized, and he told me that there's more to come, so I need to prepare myself, and which was true. I didn't know there was more to come.
Mhm. Mhm. Love it.
So yeah, so when I left the island, I came back to my original life where the chaos was happening.
Mhm.
So I started addressing the chaos one by one, and that's why I said that I in my book, because I have a book called Hugs, how I found my eagle eye. So
Mhm.
where I explain my spirit, my healing process,
Mhm.
it's there. So the healing process is there. So when I arrived in Ireland, because that's where I live, um, I started addressing all those compartments and all those chaos that was happening around me one by one. So that's why I always say that I woke up the pandemic helped me to wake up from my depression.
Mm-hmm.
So when the world was tuning off, that's when I was tuning in. You know,
Mm.
yeah. So I wake up from that abyss that I was, and my starting to have a direction in my life. So I abandoned my world of the construction world that was destabilizing my home. That's why I always talk about spaces, because every space in your every state of your life, I call it a space. And when you move to the physical space, when you encounter with other people,
Mm-hmm.
you are taking those spaces with you, and you have to know how to conduct yourself in certain spaces
Mm-hmm.
without affecting the rest of the spaces.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that was something I had to do as well. That's exercise I had to do with myself, being in tune with my body. And as well, being in tune with my body is being in tune with my emotions. Because at the time, I'm somebody that blocks off the emotion,
Mm-hmm.
and just get with the work. But it had its toll in my body. So when all these things happened, I had to address all that. And then I changed into coaching. I started coaching people, because I separated from my husband at the time because everything went haywire.
Mm-hmm.
We left. Like in a lot of relationships, when things are not working, you have to let go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't cry over it, because I just had too much to deal with that I didn't have the time to even cry over a relationship when I had to cry over my father and the rest of the things I was dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
my children and the rest. So my children came back finally. My children came back,
Yeah.
and yeah, so they came back. Then gradually things starts happening for me. I started
Mm-hmm.
getting my profession back up again,
Okay.
and in terms of the coaching aspect, my relationship with my partner started coming back again slowly, because
Good.
it takes stages for you to get to that point
Right.
in terms of creating that space. In life, you need to be able to grant yourself access to this. Knowing how to put everybody in the compartment that you need to put everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, you put the compartment for the children, put compartment for the partner,
Mm-hmm.
and friendships, your family, colleagues, friends, all those awesome. Because if you put everybody in a big bunch, it, it goes haywire, and you
Mm.
can cope. And you're trying to mitigate everybody, and you'll be lost, because that's what happened to me. I got lost. So why am I explaining all of this? For somebody to heal, you need to be able to understand the essence of who you are. You know, I myself, when I've asked myself, I looked myself in the mirror after everything that was happening and me addressing things. I asked myself who I am. When I stripped myself from being a mother, a partner, a husband, a wife, all sorts of things, I was confused because I didn't know who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And when my children was away for a vacation for 1 week, I found myself on my own. I didn't know what to do with myself.
Mm.
And that's when you face with that silence. You are in a space, in a house. I was in my house on my own because they wanted me to have time for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know what I want. And
Mm.
even when my daughter rang me and she said to me, "Mom, why are you not doing something?" I said to her, "Look, I don't know what to do. I'm here now. I'm sleeping." And she said, "How can you be sleeping with all this time that you have in your hand?
Mm-hmm.
Have you eaten?" And I said, "No, not yet. I just had a cup of tea." What do you fancy to eat? Because she wanted to send a takeaway. I said, "I don't know. What is your favorite food?" And that's really humbled me at the time, because I didn't know what was my favorite food. That
Mm.
was daunting. It was a daunting moment, because I'm finding myself on my own. I don't even know my favorite food. I don't even know who I am when I look at the mirror without all these people. So that's what led me to that journey of looking for self.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started looking for self, it's like me joining the three personas that I have within me. That is me, myself, and I, the three personas coming together.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
started
Yep.
doing that work. And when I was doing that work, I was offered I was offered a leeway by somebody,
Okay.
and somebody told me, Ivy, with everything that you have did in your life, can't you not help people here in the community? I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw you, I saw you on Facebook. I see what you're doing. And I say, okay, you see what I'm doing, and what am I doing? Oh, you're coaching, you're coaching, you're saying all sorts of lovely things. I say, yeah, that's how I feel. And then she said to me, I would like you to come down to the office because I need you to talk to certain people. And that was the first time I found, you know, a sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm.
You belong to something, the community needs you. Because I do charity work. I
Mm-hmm.
work with the elderly on doing phone services sometimes. And that led me through the work I do with translations. I do a lot of translation work for
Mm-hmm.
all these entities. But when I was faced to go to that particular space to do this talk, that was the most, it was just an experience that I never found that I could find myself into.
Mm-hmm.
And which led me to the work I'm doing today. I work with the refugees, because I always felt like a refugee myself, because I never found a country that I actually would say I'm from this country, because I just belong in those countries in a particular time. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't identify myself, oh, I'm from this country, I'm from that country, because of my upbringing that we never had a country. Because every time we have to migrate, we had to leave everything behind, all friendship, everything. So we didn't cultivate friendships. So I personally myself, I only had one friend, and that was my friend that I had up in Portugal. That because we went through schools together.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I have her up to today, because that person knows me. Even if I post something on Facebook, say, no, you are not okay. What's happening? So even if I'm smiling, you are smiling. This smile is not what it is. What
They
is
know.
happening?
Mm-hmm.
What is happening? Yeah. So that's why I'm saying that in life you have to have certain kind of friendship. I have five kind of friendships. I have friendship for if I'm looking for mental detox. I have friendship for when I'm talking things of the heart. I have friendships that when I'm talking things of looking for a spiritual awakening, I have those kind of friendship. So there's different layers of friendship. But I myself, I never allow myself to exceed five.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I exceed the five, I know myself personally that is too much for me. The work I'm doing is already requires a lot from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So dealing with these refugees, it's have been an absolute blessing, because you get to know what led the person to be in this particular space.
Mm-hmm.
Before that person coming to a different space, it was somebody. He had something, and I related a lot with it, because before I was up, and in life you go up and you go down.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's why I'm always humble when I see people, because one day things can be okay, another day things can be down. And when things are down, you expect somebody to help you to pull up. So that's why me in the relationships I cultivate, I always give people a chance. And I know in the world that we are in today, not everybody has the patience to be somebody's friend, to have a listening, to give your time to listen to the person and understand what the person needs. And that's what makes the particular services that we do, and like yourself as a coach yourself as well, Malvina, um, it gives a certain depth to the work that we do.
Yes.
Because people want to be listened to. People want to be able to grant them the access of helping them decode what they're telling you.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to help them to put their ideas in order.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in life, not everything has to have an order, because some people they operate from the state of chaos. like ourselves. You're an artist. Myself, consider myself an artist. So I operate from the state of chaos. But if you can be able to operate from that state, who can say that it's not that is the best way or not?
Exactly.
So whatever is your way of operating or your modus of operandi, you have to respect it. So these days, I'm just delighted with the group of women because during the pandemic, a group of women helped me to be who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Each one helped me in different states of me. And the person that I really am very grateful that one of the coaches as well. She is a tantric coach.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, because that was one of the main points. As women, we forget ourselves. We don't know what makes us, what fulfills us, and what makes us to feel that tenderness within us. And I needed that tenderness
Mm-hmm.
because I have my children, but I haven't been able to embrace my children.
Mm-hmm.
Before they left, and even when they came, it was very strange embracing them because the years have passed, and I didn't recognize who they were. Yes, they're in front of me, but I don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
felt like a part of me is missing.
Right.
I always saw them from the state that they were small when they left, and when they came back to me, they were big. So that disconnection is just the same thing of disconnection of self when I had my depression,
Mm-hmm.
when I had as well my professional disconnection. So it's just that. But in life, we just have to be able to take it easy,
Yes.
not thinking about, oh, the world is falling on top of me. You have to understand each stage that there is a particular lesson to learn. And when you're learning it, be attentive in that learning, you
Exactly.
know, try to be understanding in that learning. So that's why even the practice that I have today, that is called Hogs coaching, that Hogs came out of the aspect of the act of embracing my children,
Mm-hmm.
and which I gave the acronym of heal, unite, grow, and succeed. Because for you to begin your journey, for you to gain access to being hugged or somebody hugging you or being in that state of somebody embracing, you need to be able to trust the process. Or even to embrace somebody, you need to trust that person you're embracing,
Mm-hmm.
giving that opportunity to be embraced. So that healing, that age for healing, that is the beginning of the journey. And then to unite, the unity is all about you uniting with yourself, your true self, all the elements and components that makes you you.
Exactly.
And then the growth aspect. In that process, you will find yourself growing, even if you even if you don't want to admit it, you are growing, because every day you wake up from the bed, you are a different version of yourself.
That's true.
Yeah, and then in the end, when you go through those processes, sorry, then you succeed because you're in the journey of succeeding because you're coming to the end. But not because you're coming to the end. You're coming to the end to accept, to be embraced. But when you embrace, you have to think about when you're embracing somebody, what is the energy you're transmitting to that person? Are you transmitting a positive energy, or are you giving that person your load that is too bearing to you to another person?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be mindful because you can be selfish in that aspect
That is true.
because you don't know what that person is as well is carrying.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. Wow. So, what is the name of your book, Ivy, again?
My book is called Hugs: How I Found My Eagle Eye. It's up in Amazon, and there is as well a workbook as well attached to it.
I'm going to put it on here right quick so everyone can see it. How I found my evil eye. Or
My eagle eye.
eagle eye. That's what it is. My evil eye. What in the world? Oh, my goodness. I'm going to put this up here so I can show everyone. This is Ivy's book, and it's available on Amazon.com. She is a wonderful writer, and it's on my list because I have like several books from the G100. I'm like, I got to get everybody's book. Okay, hold on. Let me put it in. So I'm still checking them off minute by minute, getting them. I'm like, well, let me get together. And then some of them I kind of like, I forgot. So much has been going on. But I want to make sure that I put that out there. Everyone, please go out and get her book.
Thank
So,
you.
let me see, where can anyone that is looking, by the way, Ivy's in Ireland. Is it Dublin?
Yes, Dublin. Yes.
Dublin, Ireland. And she's available for coaching. She is all over there. She's virtual. So don't think that she's just right there. But I believe she has some really beautiful jewels to drop based on her experience so she can really help you heal. And one thing I wanted to bring about really quick is spaces. I thought about that and I was like, I thought about the one art project you had us do a while ago with the drawing of the lines, and then
Yeah.
once you got done, they had the spaces in between, and you said something really significant, and I'm paraphrasing, but each of those spaces represent a part of you.
Yes.
So I thought about that when you said that. I'm like, oh yeah. So this is really, really awesome, and she's so correct when she says that because I have like two of those projects, just so you know. I did I did it with my grandchildren and I did it by myself when we did it online. So she helps you to understand and decompartmentalize those various spaces in your life so it can make sense and it doesn't look so jumbled up, you know. They all are significant, they all are very important. You just need to figure out where they belong and what part of it you need to hold on to and what part you need to let go and heal from something and do it. It just each part is just very significant. No part of your life is bad or wrong. It's just an experience that you can heal from, grow from, and then let it go. So where can everyone find you if they're looking for coaching?
They can find me in my website. They can book an appointment through my website. It's called www.hogscoaching.com. And then my email will be there. That is hello@hogscoaching.com. So they can email and then we can schedule an appointment from there. Yeah, I do a lot of my techniques is a lot of art therapy involved because I like the arts. That's what helps me to operate
Okay.
and distress and release and, and recharge and reset. So, so I do a lot of art therapy techniques. And one of the techniques I do a lot is neurographic arts.
Okay.
So that way, tap into the neurons and bring out what is inside your subconscious and bringing it into light. That's why I always say that converting your pain into an asset and converting your pain into a form of art, because sometimes we have things inside us or we have dreams that is within us. We don't know how to decode those dreams. So when you bring it out through drawings, you see that that dream is, after all, there is a message, and after all, and there is a release from your subconscious mind, bringing it out, giving it some value, and even it serves as an anchor, because there's nothing like you doing a drawing. You can understand, you can relate. You do a drawing and you place it in one of the corners of your house, and it makes you understand, oh my gosh, this is what I felt at that particular moment. This is what I was going through that particular moment. And this is how it looked. And when you look at it, different moments, then you see, oh, it wasn't as bad after all. And then you can begin to smile through your journey. And that is my own way of coaching people, because they need to see their life as a form of art. Because as human beings, we need to tap into that aspect, because it's a beautiful aspect. What makes us.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Oh my God, I enjoyed this interview. I didn't know that much, But I know so much more now about you, and I have so much more love and respect for you to know, that thank you, first of all, thank you for sharing your story, because like I said, all women need to hear this. We all need to be able to, nothing says that you have to be successful in order to tell your story. You can be just anyone. You don't have to have some huge title or anything, but we all have a story to tell. We've all come from somewhere. We're all dealing with something. We all have something we can share with someone else to let them know, I got through this. I am sharing with you that you can as well. So I do appreciate you, and thank you for sharing your story, and allowing me to put you on the platform. And if anyone, again, if you, where is it? Where is it? If you want to contact Ivy, here is her wonderful, wonderful website. And also make sure that you purchase her book. It's on Amazon.com. Hugs How I Found My Evil Eye. Look for her, get the information, and reach out to her, because she is available for coaching. She's helping refugees. Come on now, y'all. She's reaching out. She's translating. I mean, if you're listening to the story, you see what she's doing. So she's out there. She's out there helping others. And she has the experience behind her. It's not just so much as the credentials, but it's the experience, the life experience, to be able to tell you and share with you. And not only that, understand and be compassionate with you, and understand, okay, this is where you are. I can show you, and so you can see for your own self how to get yourself out of that place and get back into the space that you really want to get into. And with that being said, I want to say thank you, everyone. Again, thank you, Ivy, so much. I love you, love you, love you, love you.
Thank you. Thank
For
you.
coming on the shore. Is there any last words that you would like to share
I
with
would
me?
like I would like to share, for us to respect one another, understand that everybody has their pain, because you spoke about leadership. Leadership, sometimes you need to give yourself that space of leading from behind, because that's what makes you a great leader. A lot of us, we want to be leaders, but we don't know how to lead. We need to find different ways to lead. I myself, I like to lead from behind. Let's give others the space, because as the work I do, training others for them to be the leaders of tomorrow. That's
Mm-hmm.
what makes me to be happy with my own experiences, granting them their access for them to understand each stage. Because who gave me access to where I am today is a janitor. Sometimes people disrespect janitors,
Mm-hmm.
or because the person is a janitor, let's, you go and clean. But that person is who gave me the access and opened the door and the space that I needed to get that contract. And that led me to the governmental aspect, because I was with the government bodies
Mm-hmm.
of a
Mm-hmm.
particular country. Sitting in that table, that person allowed me to sit in the table where I never thought I could sit in my entire life. You
Hmm.
know, because from an architect, I sat down with government officials, president of the country, minister of the country,
Mm-hmm.
so it's possible for everybody that wants to get to a certain place, but the act of respecting one another, knowing that everybody has a contribution to your life, to what you want, and knowing how to ask for what you want is very essential. It's not an easy task, because everybody can ask whatever, but it's the mannerisms that you ask for what you want. That's what grants you access for you to be the best leader that you can be.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I hope you guys are taking this all in and taking notes. And this was a wonderful interview. I enjoyed myself. It feels good to be back in the seat again of interviewing. So I have a few more to go. I have to get them to snatch them up, because I told a couple people, let's get this together. Come on, we're playing too much. So and you all know I'm silly anyway. So this is me 100%. But again, I thank you so much, Ivy, for taking out the time. It is about two something there. So I know your afternoon is already.
No, it's all right. And I want as well to thank my sisters of G100, because I remember you said the G100, you are part of G100, I'm part of G100, but I'm in the prison reform. section. So thank you, everyone. I'm here. You'll be hearing a lot from us from that section as well. A lot of beautiful things happening. Yeah, so tune in as well in that aspect.
Yes. Woo! G100. All right, you guys, go ahead. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for chiming in.
And please don't forget, there's a workshop coming up with one of the colleagues of mine, and she's part of G100 too.
What's it called?
Maggie Eglander. So we'll be doing a workshop in sleep.
It's called In Sleep.
To say yes, the secret of a great sleep.
Okay. Hold on, let me. A great sleep with
Maggie Eglander.
I didn't spell her last name. Evie.
It's like England, but it's Eglander.
Oh yeah, okay. And Ivy. Oh, wrong. Well, hold on. I always do your name wrong. Ivy.
Ivy-i. Ivy and I.
I'm a mess. So this is the next workshop coming up. Please, if you're on Facebook, if you don't have Ivy on as a friend, please follow her, and also follow Maggie as well. That way you can keep up with any workshops. They have a lot of workshops. They do a lot of live events, and you can keep up with a lot of things that they're doing and their segments. I try to post them on my pages when I catch them. I try to catch everybody's pages as much as possible when I'm not running around myself like a chicken. But sometimes I'm like, okay, social media, I'm over it right now. I have my moments. It's like, I'm sorry, I missed it. I have to post a replay. Because, sometimes you have to pull away from it. It will overwhelm you, and trying to keep up with everyone else and do everything else. It's like, we have to understand you're not going to make every meeting. You're not going to make so if I can't make it, at least what I do is post that flyer out there and try to get it out there and let everyone else know that this is coming up and this is going on. So I try to be a big supporter of everyone as much as possible, but I do appreciate you. And I love you to pieces. And my goal after next year is to start traveling. And it might be even before that. Doors, I'm pretty sure that the universe will open up doors for me to be able to do that. So I will be headed your way. I'm putting it out there. I'm saying it. And everything is going to be provided for me to be able to do so. So I'm looking forward to spending time with my sister. And with that being said, we're going to say goodbye to everyone. Love you all. Take care. Be blessed. And Teddy Bear says bye.